Everybody, welcome back. This is Chris for Christ Publications. You're tuned in to Amateur Photography. This is episode 2. I want to thank you guys for tuning in to first episode there. We covered a lot of ground and just the intro to my start of my journey here in photography. So today we're going to talk about the biggest mistake I've made so far. And I know there's going to be a lot of boneheaded mistakes coming around, but to date this is the biggest one I've made. So hopefully this helps somebody else along the way. I do want to start by walking back a couple things at least to get started here. If you caught the first video, you probably noticed that if you know anything about photography, I kind of use the terms telephoto and zoom interchangeably when talking about those types of lenses. I am aware there's a distinction there. Just for the sake of the video, I chose not to split hairs. So you'll understand that if I refer to a zoom lens, then you pretty much know what that is. Also, too, I mentioned the whole purpose for me starting this channel and the whole reasoning behind it all. There weren't a whole lot of photography communities, really, not a whole lot of places where I could share in that passion and talk with others. That is mostly true, but there is a big one that I forgot to mention. You're going to find the link in the description down there, but the biggest one I can't recommend highly enough is going to be daisy.com. It's going to be sort of a playground online art school for creatives. So whatever your creative interest is, photography, writing, digital media, film, all kinds of stuff. They have a little bit of something for everybody there. So absolutely cannot recommend it highly enough. Definitely check it out. It's been a tremendous help, a tremendous blessing in my life. So I know you'll enjoy it too. So there you go. So we're going to start by, like we said, talking about my biggest photography mistake to date. And kind of a little bit of backstory on it here. From the first video, you understand that I picked up a book to introduce myself to photography and teach all the technical things I needed to get started. And the book I used is phenomenal and I recommend it to anybody, but it wasn't comprehensive. It didn't quite tell you everything. Now, part of this is my fault. I'm a little bit old school. If I want to pick up something new, learn a new skill, then I'm more likely to read a book than to watch like a YouTube video or so. And I'm sure there's a lot of YouTube videos out there that would have covered this and kind of would have helped me avoid it, but here we are. So it's a learning process. I got my camera, I read all about it, read through the manual and all that. And from the book I learned from, I was told that a lot of photographers just sort of stick in auto mode. When you have your shooting modes, auto, program, aperture priority, all those. A lot of them tend to stick in auto and just let the camera do all the work for you. And it really cautions you against that and tells you, if you want to be a better photographer, then explore the other modes and learn how those work to have more creative control. So that's what I did. I decided to grow into program mode. Decided to take all my pictures and do all my shooting that way, which is fine. The other thing I learned that if you're prone to a lot of camera shake and a lot of unsteadiness there, besides using a tripod, one of the things you want to do is increase your ISO to kind of compensate for that. So light gets there faster and gets the picture in quicker. You probably can't tell from this angle, but that's kind of a factor for me. I shouldn't be performing brain surgery anytime soon. So I decided, I'm going to crank my ISO up as I go to kind of avoid that. And if you're familiar with photography, you know where this is going already. So I did that. We're going to show you a few different pictures here. First of all, this is going to be, for background context, I took a family trip to Washington, D.C., that area. Had a great time, was fortunate to have a little time for photography, so walking around taking some shots there. This is going to be starting with some waterfront property in the DC area. I think it's technically in Virginia, but yeah, you can even see the issue I'm running into on this picture here. Otherwise, a fantastic image. I really liked it a lot, but you see the problem. That color distortion there, the kind of the grainy chromatic aberration, I think is the technical term for it. You can correct me if I'm wrong, but you see a lot of that going there. The next picture you're showing, I was fortunate enough to be able to pull this shot, and Get that, you see it's a kind of a residential area, so it's a little bit iffy about shooting there, but wonderful shot, liked it a lot, but still more of that same issue. And it kind of ruined it. I'm a little bit upset about that because I really like that picture. This next picture here is family dinner at that time. This is my younger sister, Erin. Quick shout out for her. I always say that great YouTube content runs in our family. So if you're into makeup and the whole makeup artistry world, definitely check out Erin Tyler makeup tutorials on YouTube. She's really an artist there, does a lot of great things. If that's your thing, then you'll definitely be able to get a lot from that. So absolutely check her out. But yeah, this was a birthday dinner we went to, take some evening shots after, and you really see more of it, definitely in the background picture that you're showing there. A lot of that chromatic aberration, distortion, whatever you want to call it, that came from setting the ISO too high, particularly in program mode, but it could happen in other modes too. So you have basically too much light coming into the sensor there, and it's throwing off the colors and making everything all wacky and ruining some otherwise great shots. That is something I had to really learn to overcome. I'm going to share another picture here. This is some post-production work I did for that same picture of Erin. And as you can see, it turned into black and white. Still not ideal, but it's definitely a little bit better. So that's one way around it, but really the best way around it, I figured, is to learn the settings and learn how to adjust it in camera so you don't run into that at all. This other picture here is going to be a bridge in the same waterfront area. Now, look, I know it's not composed great. I know it could be a whole lot better, but this is amateur photography. Cut me a break. So I really love this shot. Took a few different shots of it, and it was all in program mode and still run into that same thing, and it was really bothering me. So I just decided, you know what, forget it. I'll switch back to auto for this one. And this is the end result you're seeing in auto mode there. And again, not ideal, but definitely a little bit better and not distorted and ugly like some of the other pictures turned out. So what this has really taught me, camera settings can make or break photographs there. So you want to be careful. You want to learn how to make those settings work for you. And also too, if you're an amateur like me, you're just starting out, yes, absolutely. I highly recommend, working your way out, growing as a photographer, shooting in, different modes to see how those work and giving yourself that creative control. But if you just need to get a good photograph, you spend all the money on the camera, let it work for you. Don't be ashamed to go into auto mode. I'm not saying live there. I definitely recommend branching out and growing, but if you just need to get it done, pull it in auto. And then as you go, you can even see the settings that they'll use for auto mode on your camera. So it'll tell you what ISO, what shutter speed they're looking at, what aperture values they have set for, how many f-stops. Use those as a basis and a foundation and sort of play along with it. While you're at home, just do a little bit of homework and take a look at different modes and how they work and what each situation calls for. So that way, when you do go out into the field, you already have that basis of knowledge to work from and grow from. And you won't have a bunch of grainy pictures that otherwise would have been fantastic like me. So that is basically it. Like I said, hopefully this really helps somebody because this so far is probably the biggest mistake I've made, and I've really messed up a lot of pictures, but you can check it out for yourself. Some of them, like, I'm going to post a few more. Some of them, like the pine tree and the full moon photo. Sometimes you really can't help it, but taking a look at it, playing around with it, learning and growing that skill set will definitely help you in the future. So thanks for tuning in. Take a look at those. Definitely enjoy it. If you are subscribed to the channel, we appreciate that. If you're not, definitely go ahead and subscribe. You'll want to catch the next video. We're actually going to be taking a little bit of a field trip. I'm going to be hitting the road and going to a undisclosed as of yet location, which means I haven't picked it yet, but we're going to go out and hit the field and take some shots in kind of a different location, change the scenery here, and we'll see what we come up with. So it should be a fun time. So again, thanks for tuning in, everybody. Definitely like, comment, subscribe. Check us out. Erin Tyler Makeup Tutorials on YouTube. Check her out as well. Tell her Chris sent you, and nothing will happen, but still, it'd be cool. And thanks for tuning in. We will see you next time.